Welcome everybody, Double Tap here, and today I'm bringing you part 3 to the Banished tips and tutorials, so let's just jump in right where we left off. To the south you can see that our Forester's Lodge has been built up alongside the Gatherer's Hut. They are still bringing down the resources to the Hunter's Lodge as we speak. They're going to get that built up in due time. And as you can see in the boarding house, we still have an abundance of food, firewood, everything is good for our people in there. That's what we want to see, especially during winter time. Here, this yellow circle is actually the area of effect that the Forester's Lodge is going to have, so that's where they're going to be able to work within, is that area. That's where they'll be planting trees and taking trees down. They will not exceed that yellow circle that you've seen around there. Some things worth noting here is you could see down that it's early winter, and the 2 beside it is the year that we're in. Once it goes into early spring, you will see that switch over to year 3. Next to that, you can see that we have 18 laborers and 4 children. As soon as those 4 children become adults, they will immediately turn into laborers, and hopefully we can start seeing that happen sooner than later, because we are starting to run out of people to fill these professions, which is why you won't see me filling the available spots to the south there in the Forester's Lodge, the Gatherer's Hut, and the Hunter's Cabin, is because we don't really have the people to fill it right now. What I will do though at some point here, because you can see that we still have some people building up the roads here and all those things. I'm not going to take the builders quite off yet, but if you are at a standstill and you notice that all your buildings have been built and there are no longer a need for builders, you can just take them off and switch them over into other professions until it's required to bring some more builders in. That way you don't have people just sitting around and wasting time. So at some point or another you will see me here take the builders off and likely move them into some of those positions to the south that need to be filled. Worth noting, that's what the question marks actually mean. Those question marks are just saying that the buildings are prepared, they're all built up, but they actually need somebody to operate that said building. So I'm not just completely ignoring it right now, it's just right now it's not completely necessary. It's good that we have them built and prepared. That's always what you want to do in this game, is stay ahead of the issue, because it's just so unforgiving. Trust me, if you leave these people to go a little bit without a said resource, things can crumble very quickly. So I love how unforgiving the game is, that's what makes it beautiful, but you can watch your incredible little town crumble so quickly that it's just best to stay out in front of everything. So our goal throughout all of these tutorials is to stay ahead of the issue, and so far we're doing just that. We have fine food production, our firewood's fine, we still have resources that are necessary to continue producing tools, so right now we're in the clear, nothing to worry about immediately. And here you go, you can see we've switched over to early spring, and now it shows that it's year 3. So now that it's spring, you'll see immediately that all the farmers go right to work. And yes, it is worth noting that I do have 4 extra fields here, and it's not that I'm ignoring those, it's actually the same reason that the positions to the south haven't been filled. We just simply don't have the number of laborers right now. So that's the exact reason I'm going to go ahead with what I was speaking on earlier, and I'm going to go ahead and remove these builders in a second from their position, because as you can see there are no more buildings being built. So let's go ahead and try to fill some of these positions down here, mainly the Forester's Lodge, because it is the most important. So as you can see, we have the laborer 1 right there, the last one that we had available. He is now gone, he or she, and we are going to go ahead and take these 2 builders off now and fill one of the Gatherer Hut positions. And for now, I think that's just perfect. We will be filling the spot in the hunting cabin, just not quite yet. I'm going to just reserve that laborer for now, and the rest of this episode is just me thinking ahead of how we're going to plan out this future city. So right now, just take a break and enjoy the scenery and watch my farmers go to work. But there are some things that I'm going to start taking into consideration as I look at this landscape. You always want to plan ahead, as I was saying. So next episode, I'm definitely going to advance this civilization and start building individual homes so these families can start breaking off and doing their own thing. But in order to do that, you definitely want to plan out to have a market. Now, a market in this game basically takes all of the resources, whether it be food, wood, anything that people need in their actual homes, individual homes, and they'll place it in one center hub. Now, because everybody's in a boarding home right now, it's not quite as important because all the resources only need to be in one place. But once you start breaking off into individual homes, you could see how having one centralized hub with all the resources could become useful. So we will be expanding that out at a certain point here, and I am thinking about having my civilization to the west of my farmland, and to the north I will be expanding out my actual farmland. So with all that being said, we are going to have to start taking some steps before all of this will happen. This is the big picture expansion, so you can see that there's lots of trees and resources on the ground to the north. So all of that land, just as we did in the beginning of this game, is going to have to be cleared before any of this can actually happen. But this is exactly why you want to start thinking these things out loud, so that we can just plan it all out and we know where we're going with this vision. And we're getting all kinds of notices that the food is low, but as you can see there, I'm checking our resources in the actual boarding house and we are doing just fine. It's just that, as stated in the other episodes, it's just that our main warehouse there is getting low, so the game is giving us notifications that we are running low. But because it's summer and about to hit late summer, and they will start harvesting our next round of crops. Actually, speak of the devil, there they go. They are doing it as we speak. Those notifications are about to become completely irrelevant. As they're gathering that, you will notice that there continually has little messages pop up over the woodcutter's lodge in the blacksmith. That little arrow with the line is just saying that it's reached its limit and they can no longer continue to produce unless we raise the limit, which is exactly what we're going to do over the blacksmith here, and I'm going to tell you why. Those tools are worth a lot of money in this game, and if you continue to produce a lot of those, they can be sold later on or traded when the little boat comes around and we are trying to gather new resources that will become very, very important later in game. So having an abundance of tools created is definitely not a bad thing in this game. So if you have the resources, allow your people to build those tools, because they are one of the best bartering tools in the game to me. Now, as I was speaking there, I did click the clear resources tool, and I basically highlighted the entire area to the north there, so that all my people during winter time here that were farmers and were working as farmers at that point are now laborers. And as you can see, they are clearing out the north of all the trees, iron and stone, all the resources that we will need. And on top of that, they are also clearing the area out that I will need to continue our expansion of our town. Like I said, the north there I plan on using for farmland, so I do need everything completely cleared out in order to use that land to its fullest potential. Now, wells are important in the game. At some point or another, I'm definitely going to start dropping those in. It's just for fires. So if you start to have fires happen in your city, they will be able to put them out. And here I am going to place one of the most important things in the game, the schoolhouse. Now, the reason that the schoolhouse is important is because there is an education level in this game. Uneducated citizens do not work quite as well, but if you do have educated citizens, they basically give a bonus to their production. They can work better, faster, harder, longer, all of the above, if you give them an education. So as children are born, if you have a school laid down, they will automatically start going to school, It does increase the amount of time that it will take for them to become a laborer because they have to continue to go to school, but it is definitely worth it in the long run because you will have basically bona fide laborers. They will work better than if you didn't have that school down. So it is worth the time that it takes to create educated citizens. Now, as you could tell before there as well, I was trying to fish out an area for the market there. I think to the left there is where we will be setting the market, and then we will build our town around that said market. So all I was doing there is some future planning while I'm ranting here, and I actually think that this is the perfect spot to stop this video because there's a lot going on here, and instead of trying to continue this and make it a drawn out video, I think I will save all of what's going on here for part 4, and we will break it down into further detail because a lot of these things can't just be brushed over. So with that being said, if you've enjoyed this tutorial and you'd like to see more like this, please like and subscribe. Help a small channel grow. Every single like, comment, and subscribe genuinely helps so much. The new YouTube algorithm is not the kindest to a new channel trying to get up and running, so I really do appreciate each and every one of you who have helped me get as far as I have so far. Until next time, double tap out.